stuck his nose in enough theology to be. I mean, the Spirit's convicted me that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true, and that the Book of Mormon is true, and that Joseph Smith is a prophet, and it's confirmed to me. I've had continual confirmations, continual revelations that is true, that those things are true, the ones that I just mentioned, and so I have a knowledge of the truth, and I see it again and again. It's not like this self-fulfilling prophecy where I believe it's true, I think it's true, and therefore I see the truth that I think confirms what I think is the truth to me. It's
I agree.
But what I'm trying to say
the
is,
Spirit and stuff. I just want to say this. I don't know why I feel like saying this. Wow, I feel the Spirit right now. Oh, thank God. It feels so good. Wow. Justin, I love you. I love you. Wow, I can't even say it. It's good, though. I want to say it, but I can't. I can't say it.
A little bit. I know enough about some other theological beliefs and different denominations and things like that to help me realize that, well, those definitely aren't true. I definitely don't agree with those. So I believe in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that it is a true church restored to the earth.
So I'm a lot more sure that our church is true than their churches are false.
The original Church of Jesus Christ, established on the earth in the New Testament times, did in fact fall away with the death of his apostles and after his resurrection, after Jesus' resurrection. And I do know that, sorry, the camera angle, but still, all the different denominations we have are because of that apostasy, that falling away. So, for me, it's easy to see.
Good.
Like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with my choice of choosing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I don't have a problem with my belief. And when I look around at the other beliefs and the other denominations, I see problems, inconsistencies, and errors. And so where I started this video saying what I like about the church, I guess I may talk about some of those things, but I just know that there's some things about some of the other denominations in Christianity that just, for me, they just don't make a lot of sense. They don't quite add up. And you can take this as an attack. I don't mean it as an attack, but you can take it for however you take it. So let's start with the Catholic Church. So the Catholic Church, for example, maintains that it's the true church of God, the true church of Jesus Christ, and that true church never fell away ever. It is the exact church that Jesus formed on the earth. It's a continuation of that. I don't believe that because right off the surface, there's nothing in the Bible or in Jesus' teachings that say anything. They don't forecast what the Catholic Church is today at all. So when I look at the Catholic Church, I see man-made all over it. I see man-made, I see man's conclusion about a lot of things. The whole confessing to a priest, that does not resonate with me as true. The having a pope, that does not resonate with me as true. There are some things that they have that are almost true. They're almost on point, but they're just not quite on point. And so I've seen the fruits of the Catholic Church. And see, that's the thing. A lot of churches produce good fruits, but still, you can tell if something's not quite right. And I can tell that something's not quite right. Like, not to get too personal, I do, but I have.
Justin, that's okay.
Let's just say I know somebody.
The Bible says you'll know them by their fruits.
Well,
it doesn't say they're going to be perfect. There's something about our church that isn't right.
Who's in that church and who's been seeking after it for a while. That person is awesome and I love them, but I can definitely see where the teachings are not natural, in that there's a lot of things that are taught and a lot of doctrines that are taught, and it's like, well, in order to understand these things, you have to study them and study them and study them. I'm gonna go second.
Read
and study and memorize. I'm
gonna go second, Justin.
The truth doesn't work that way, because on the surface level, I would say God does not expect us to be a scholar in order to understand his doctrines in the church. And you basically have to be a scholar to understand these things.
Seriously?
That's my impression.
Where does it say that?
just doesn't add up for me. I also think there's been a lot of really corrupt popes.
So far, I disagree with everything you've said.
It
Just so
does
you
not
know,
hold up.
I'm just
This does
letting you
not
finish.
hold water to me. And I did go before I chose which church to go to forever, or whichever church to join. Yeah, whatever. Before I chose which church to join, I did go to the Catholic Church with my cousin, and went there a few times, and prayed about it. But I never got the impression that it was the right church. Like, I just didn't. And I tried. He gave me a missal. He gave me which is a book that they have to read.
Yeah.
But just different things. And
it's the RC Holy Ghost.
The whole thing about the way they go about their service, and like the smoke, and like the Eucharist, and the way they do like the chanting and the different talking in different languages and stuff like that and everything. Like the whole thing about it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it does not add up to me in a way that says, oh, this is God's true church, this is legit. It doesn't.
Really?
I think for a lot of people it does, because they see all these different things and they don't quite understand them. And so I think it wins a lot of people over by the things that people just don't understand. They go, oh wow, this is really elaborate, this is really complicated. Wow, they have such a beautiful architecture. This must be the true church. This must be, right? And
we have beautiful temples.
I don't feel that way. Now, non-denominational churches, or let's just say Protestant churches.
Okay, that's enough. So I disagree with everything you just said there. Everything. I strongly disagree with everything. But I'm against the Catholic Church for actual better reasons. So, so let me tell you, and then you can pretend like those are your reasons, because that's what friends are for. Infant baptism, Abomination, Moroni 8. They get around it by saying, oh, we're not actually baptizing him. Well, then why are you baptizing him? But it's just like, oh, it's just a promise thing, and I don't know. But they need to, ironically, I don't know, get rid of it. But ironically, they need to water it down even more than what they're saying. They need to get rid of it. Infant baptism is no good. Unrighteous sectarianism is a huge problem with religion. It's throwing the wrong people into hell. So if you think for example, they don't recognize LDS baptisms. They recognize Protestant ones, but the LDS, they say, you're Jesus, he's like Asian or something. They treat him like, they're like racist against our definition of Christ, and oh, he's too nice, he's too loving, so he can't possibly be that loving. The Protestant one, at least he's a douche nozzle. At least he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So they say the baptism technically counts if you're Protestant, because you're a Christian, but Mormons aren't Christians. So that's called unrighteous sectarianism. The Protestants have that as well. It's another non-denom. Although the Catholic Church has never actually said that someone's in hell. They have, I think, 3,800 people in heaven and 0 people in hell, officially. Plus, you could just pray people out of hell, but they do believe in eternal hell. So eternal conscious torment is another problem. Although LDS, we have that too, and I'm uncomfortable with that. But it's only for the devil and his angels and the sons of perdition, which are people who think that that's where they want to be. So, but in Catholic, it's because God threw them into hell. In LDS, it's because the agency continues to malfunction. It's kind of like if I throw a party here, in the Catholic Church, they kick out the bad people. Whereas the LDS, we let the bad people come in. They just don't want to come in. They run away. Like they would rather run out to the river and drown themselves, and that's what they do. So they're invited to come in, they just run away. So that's kind of how we get around it. We don't actually like people going to hell or anything, but the Catholics kind of do. They're just like, oh, you sinned and now you're going to hell forever. So that's a big problem theologically. And then the straw that broke the camel's back for me recently, and there's some other problems with it, with the church, and some things that they don't have too. Like, I used to think the church was great. It was just not as good as LDS. They don't have baptisms for the dead. They don't have... And actually, I enjoy the... what's it called? The seal of confession. The sealed confession where they can't say anything. Ours is more confidential and like hyper privileged, whereas theirs is sealed. So they have a deeper, darker confession room that's more sealed. And I like that. And I always like their sacrament, how it was literally literal. But, their sacrament sectarianism is actually bad. I've actually never put that into words until now. That's another thing I like making these videos. My mental faculty generates knowledge that I can learn from myself. It's another reason why I make these videos. There's learning involved in teaching and speaking and explaining. Because you have to come up with words for your audience. And my audience right now is Justin. And whoever that other person is. But they think that all the other so we probably believe... Well, we believe that if someone else is taking a sacrament somewhere, that's great, good for them. That's what we think. The Catholics think, oh, that's not even real. It's like, they act like it didn't even happen. Like nothing is happening. It's kind of like we have quasi-baptismal sectarianism. Although, I think it's very similar, actually. I don't think we have it. We actually don't have an official church position on baptismal. Well, we have baptism with authority. Do we think that other people who get baptized, nothing just happened right there? I don't know if our church officially thinks that. But that would be maybe... But anyway, that's what the Catholic... I have a problem with that as well. But the way I to see it is, if you want to go to the Celestial Kingdom, you need a celestial passport, and the baptism is a celestial passport. I think there are people who could get to the Celestial Kingdom without the celestial passport, obviously such as babies, but also people born on the other side of the world, or people who would have accepted it, who have a 99+% chance of accepting it. If there was an LDS church nearby, I think they have an effective celestial passport, if that makes sense. But the Catholic Church doesn't have that. It's not like, oh, you have a effective celestial sacrament. When you take sacrament, no, they just said, oh, ours is literal and yours is not literal, so yours doesn't happen. I don't like that. But anyways, there's a few other little things that they pay their priests and stuff like that. Whatever. Okay. Paid clergy. Whatever. I like the Q15 more than the Pope. I've already said a lot of this stuff. Anyways, this last thing that really made me mad was hard immutability of God. And they're attacking God in a way that I'm uncomfortable with. I made a really awesome 6-minute video. I watched it 5 times. Watched myself speak for 6 minutes. I was pissed. Because I was... I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 35% Catholic in my heart when I was watching all those Catholics and stuff. Now I'm 0. I'm like a hard 0. I'm negative Catholic now, which is why this is a great time for this video to pop up. I'll still defend the Catholics where they need to be, where they should be defended. Like everything that Justin just said is a bunch of nonsense. But everything that I'm saying is great, right? But not having a good feeling about it, that's something. That's valid. My cousin went, she's like, oh, it feels very demonic in here. Okay, well, that's something. But, yeah, They believe in the immutability of God, Hebrews 13:8, James 1:17, supposedly. Surface level, doctrine. How about this for another dig at the church? It's static. They don't have the ability to overpower the old guys from 300, 400, 500, 600 years ago that may or may not have made a mistake. We do it. Oh my! We call the guy who gave a talk 10 minutes ago an idiot. That's what we do. That's how dynamic we are. Oh, he said that? It's like we have active, like, Uchtdorf almost didn't even get to go up and speak because when he passed it around to the Q15, 13 of the 14 guys were like, yeah, this is a great talk. And then Bednar's like, if you go up there, you're dead to me. And Uchtdorf says, well, I thought I was dead to you anyway from the last talk. He says, you are. He says, okay, well, then I'm going to say it. And he goes up and gives a talk on Matthew 7:1, and everyone starts, throwing a party and stuff. And Bednar is like, well, I was going to speak on tithing, but now I'm going to speak on Matthew 7:1, Joseph Smith translation. Because Uchtdorf is a goofdork. And everyone's like, oh, I don't like the way Bednar is talking. So the Lord edifies all the Uchtdorf goofdork listeners, and then the Bednar people just ignores goofdork's talk and listens to Bednar. And they both get closer to Christ. That's how amazing our church is. We have 15 popes. That's the way it is. And all the Q70 guys are also amazing. Although I've never met someone who's known a guy who's known a guy who's known a guy who's known someone who knows the first and last name of a Q70 guy. But maybe one day. I don't know. And Brad Wilcox isn't even in the Q70, so the Q70 must be amazing, because otherwise he'd be in there. But it's called hard immutability, Catholic. It's this idea that God doesn't change either. Not only does our church not change, the Catholic Church, this is what they're saying, not only does the Catholic Church not change, and they say, and they have, apparently they've never made a mistake in the past. Can you believe that? Every single pope that they've ever had has malfunctioned in a ridiculous way. The Protestants, you know what the word Protestant means? It means protest. Protest who? Protest what? Protest what? Protest the Catholics. That's their whole religion is. Everything the Catholics believe, we believe the exact opposite. Let's go with that. Martin Luther was kidding when he said faith alone. And then he started to believe his own nonsense. And then at the end, he's like, okay, I was kidding, actually. But all of his writings from the past, exist still. But even him, he was like, works to get into heaven. Even the original thesis. But he just wanted to be faith alone because the Catholic Church was so ridiculous with the indulgences and all that. I mean, how about church history, Justin? You and I, we didn't even mention that yet. You go to LDS church history, we have a Boston Meadows Massacre. That's number 3. Number 2, a bunch of prophets had sex with the sisters because they were commanded to. Righteous polygamy. That's our second biggest sin. It's not even a sin. Okay, that's number 3 then. Number two is somebody shot at us, we shot back. That's what Joseph did in jail as well. And our biggest sin, yes, we messed up on the Mark of Cain. We were slightly less racist than everyone else. And we should have been significantly less racist. That's our biggest sin, I would say. I mean, I don't know, Spencer W. Kimball exalted chastity over life itself. He was idolizing chastity. Okay, that's a sin. What else? What else we got? I mean, this is our church history, Justin. It's as clean as... Let me think of a verse for clean. It's as clean as the Noah's flood. No, it's as clean as Noah's family after the flood. Before, during, and after the flood. That's our church history. It's like we might not be perfect as we might not be John the Baptist. Oh my gosh, I was gonna say we might not be as good as John the Baptist or Joseph Smith, but we're Noah. That's how funny that was. That was about to be. Could you imagine if I said that? That would have been hilarious. I'm not saying we're as good as Joseph Smith or anything, but we're more like Noah. That's crazy. Wow. Go to the Catholic church history. Wicked. Could you imagine if the world treated our church history the way they treat the Catholics' church history? I mean, the anti-Mormons should be anti-Catholic, and they should just be tears in their eyes talking about every pope, name them out, every sin that he's ever done. Some wicked, 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 wicked. Very wicked. Very wicked. But anyways, they bombed way too hard for me. They were blaspheming the second greatest commandment the whole time. And you know what? That's okay. Because at least the Bible agrees with you. Job 15:16, such great abomination as a man who drinks iniquity like its water. Well, there you go. There you go. But this, I don't like this. Immutability. God doesn't change. He doesn't learn. He's not infinite. He's maximum. He doesn't get better over time. He knows the future, and it's fixed, so they're not open theists. I don't even know if you could be an open theist, be Catholic. But the point is, it's immutable, and God answered Moses' prayer 5,000 years ago, and it was so ridiculous and so stupid, and so it was limiting God in a way that I was so uncomfortable with. And it's an unchangeable doctrine. They've had it for like hundreds and hundreds of years, and I was like, no way, dude. I was like, no way. And then I was like, just making sure my Dumbo Elephant Church doesn't believe this, just to make sure. I did a quick ChatGPT search. Are we so dumb? Because I know some of our members are allowed to believe dumb things and still be members. I already know that. But it's like, who do I take this? I mean, I'm just going to take it out on the internet. And either way, but just make sure we don't believe this. And then it's like, does the LDS Church believe in immutability? No, they don't. Short answer, no. It doesn't work like that. It's like, okay, well, that's good. Just our church just keeps getting better for me. It's like, the fact that they got this one over on 2 billion people is crazy. Wow. I don't like that. So there's a time and a place to limit God, and you want to get something really, really good out of it. Like, oh, God can't lie anymore. He can't? No, he can't. Oh, well, that's good though, right? Yeah, it is. Oh, okay, that's good. Can God make a rock so heavy that he can't pick it up? Yeah, he could do that. Okay, and then can he pick it up? No, he can't. So he can't pick it up now? No, he can't. So he's limited? Yep. That's what I believe. But there are some Christians who think that he could make a vow, create the rock, it's so heavy, and then he could pick it up anyway. So now he's limited in his vow making, but he could pick it up now. So I think that's a worse God than mine. I believe in the God that puts the rainbow up, and then, it's very difficult to flood the earth at that point. But I believe in loopholes. So I think you could flood the whole earth except for Antarctica, and you could be a smart aleck, as we see all throughout Scripture and stuff like that. And I think every verse, there's a smart aleck element to it. There's trillions of layers to Scripture. And for the Catholics not to know that with 2 billion people is insane, by the way. It's crazy. And they don't have unkept Christian philosophy. And our church obviously does. Our church is wild, and it's great. I'd say the biggest problem I have with our church theologically, and I already changed the doctrine on Facebook anyway because I'm an Aaronic priest and I'll do whatever the flying fox I want pretty much. We believe in laws. Eternal law, it's called, and it rules over the gods, and it's built into the fabric of reality. And no one knows who made the laws. And I said, okay, well, and the gods aren't powerful enough apparently to change them. But there's no statement whether they can or can't. There's just nobody knows anything. So I said, well, we do now. I said, it's like changing the U.S. Constitution. It's never going to happen, but it's possible, and there's a way to do it. And you can look into how to change the U.S. Constitution. It's very difficult. But if you, like, for example, if you want to get rid of the Second Amendment, you could do it. There's a process. You need, like, majority, supermajority to do it. And nobody would ever grant that much. Majority for an awesome amendment like that. But if you want to do it, you could do it. And that's how I feel with the eternal law. The laws are there to make us happy and to help us bear fruit and to get closer to God and his attributes. And if all the gods are uncomfortable with the law, or if we find a better law, we find out better laws, or we want to modify the laws, we could do it with a supermajority, is the idea. And there's objective truth, but the objective truth is changeable by the gods. And the example I give the missionaries, and the Catholics don't have this problem because they don't even think. So that's whatever. They don't even have any of this stuff. But I was telling the missionaries, what wins, a full house or a flush? And they say, oh, I don't know. Are you serious? They're like, yeah, we don't play poker. We've never played. Neither of you. Okay, that's fine. Full house or a straight? Just make it really easy. He says, oh, we don't know that either. Okay, a full house or a pair of aces. How about that? And they said a full house. That's right. That's right. Now, is that an objective truth? They're like, yes. That's okay. What if everyone wanted a pair of aces to beat a full house? Would a full house still beat a pair of aces? And they both said yes. It's amazing, huh? It's just the rules of the game are just that strong, right? I think my roommate can hear me. Did I wake you up, Chris?
No, I was already awake.
Oh, thank God.
But then I was like, should I go back to sleep? And I'm like, nah, dude, Eric's preaching. It's going to be hard to sleep. So then I was like, well, I got to go to this.
Yeah, you have to.
Do you want to go? I'm only going to go for like 3 hours. We can leave after we both bust to do the 100.
Yeah.
Or go
yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, I'll go.
Alright, you got to rally. Quick.
Hey, Chris.
What?
What wins, a full house or a pair of aces?
Is it a trick question?
It's about to be.
What street?
There's a follow-up question, Chris.
What street?
It's Texas Hold'em. Does a full house beat a pair of aces? There's a couple.
The river and it goes to showdown.
Yeah. There's follow-up questions. This one's easy. It's for the video, Chris. I mean, yes, a full house beats a pair of aces, right? It's not a trick question yet. It's going to get trickier, but I think you'll get it, though. Because I asked the missionaries, and they gave some strange answers. Is it objectively true that a full house beats a pair of aces?
Well, the river and it goes to showdown. Yeah, it beats a pair of aces. It's not a trick question yet. It's going to get trickier, but I think you'll get it, though. Because I asked the missionaries, and they gave some strange answers. Is it objectively true that a full house beats a pair of aces? Yes.
And then here's the last question. If everyone wanted a pair of aces to beat a full house, would a pair of aces beat a full house?
If everyone wanted a pair of aces to beat a full house?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because the rules would change, right? Because that's what we want. We're the players. So the rules don't tell us what to do. We tell the rules what to do, right? And that's what the LDS theology doesn't seem to understand. They think the laws are ruling over us.
Tell the rules what to do, and then
they tell us what to do. And then if there's a super majority, we can overrule the rules, right?
How does LDS not understand that?
Because they think there's laws built into the matrix and the gods are enslaved to the laws. And we don't know how the laws got there, and we're unable to change it because the laws are there.
Well, A, that's not true.
Okay. You're not LDS, though.
First thing, what are you talking about? You're talking about
LDS theology.
the Bible?
No, LDS theology. Mormon theology.
From
That's what Mormons believe. I think it's the dumbest thing Mormons believe right now.
Book of Mormon or from when?
Joseph Smith's theology, Brigham Young's theology, the prophets, modern
They
day.
did change the law. They made polygamy illegal.
Well, that was implementing an eternal law from God.
What?
That was more God of Mormonism implementing a.
No, they changed the laws. You just said they don't change the law. They do.
Polygamy was commanded. Put it like that.
Got you there, bitch.
Polygamy was commanded.
What?
There are times throughout history where polygamy is commanded.
Got ya.
Yeah. And there's a revelation right now that we're commanded, that monogamy is commanded. I guess that's a good example for the point I'm making.
How do we even really know that God threw the 10 Commandments, or did Moses just come on that shit?
Finger of God on the tablets.
Where are the tablets?
He had them. He had stone tablets.
Show me the tablets.
They showed him at the time.
I mean, where did it go?
You could show him. Anyways, maybe I'll finish this video later. I'm gonna go make Chris some money, I guess. Get my second greatest commandment stock up. Anyways, I do enjoy this video. I want to finish this later.